Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Eat, Sleep, Boxing, Repeat. My name's Elliott Grigg, back here, joined once again for a Monday preview show by my esteemed and venerable colleague, Paul Kelly. Paul, so obviously we've decided, haven't we, this week to do something slightly different. We've split the reviews in two. Obviously, we've got the big British card, the big card taking place in London on Boxer Show, the all-female card, which we previewed. Check out, obviously, our link and content for the preview of that one. This one, we're going to go international, as it were. We're going to go stateside. We're going to go down under. There's a lot of boxing this week, a real treat for fans. But firstly, before we announce, I suppose, the first fight, I just want to go over to you, Paul, and ask firstly how you are and whether you're excited for this week of boxing.
I'm sensational. Thanks very much, Elliot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. There's after the disappointment of last week, I think it's good to get the return of Deontay Wilder. That'll be exciting. Obviously, we've got the rematch for all of the lightweight belts as well as it being my birthday on Sunday. So it's going to be a good weekend for me all round.
No, thank you very much. I totally agree with you. But as you said there, without further ado, then we'll go over to the first fight that we're previewing this week, which is going to be over in the US. And this is actually a solid card. This is coming from New York, the USA. So it's headlined by Wilder versus Helenius. But just to give you another couple of fights, obviously, that are on this card, because it's a decent card. Plant versus Durrell. All right, Durrell's not in his prime, but Plant versus Durrell's a decent fight. Gary Russell takes on Emmanuel Rodriguez. And Frank Sanchez was another heavyweight. Obviously, he's in fighting with Carlos Negron. So there's some good fights taking place in this card, to be perfectly honest, if you're either an insomniac or fancy staying up late on Saturday night to watch it. But we're going to talk firstly and foremost about Deontay Wilder, which I think I don't speak solely for myself here when I say that people are very excited to see him return to the ring on Saturday. Obviously, he's been out for some time since the Tyson Fury fights, the trilogy fights of those they had. And obviously we know how that ended. We know that there was struggles possibly outside the ring, some soul searching, some excuses. But I think when you look at Deontay Wilder, you're looking at a man here with a record of 42-2-1 with 41 knockouts. And not only that, we're looking at, obviously, out of the knockouts that he has got, what he didn't necessarily have, the times when he put down Tyson Fury as well. So there's some close knockout opportunities in those fights as well. 36 years old, still obviously around. I think, again, I'm not alone in saying this, whenever you discuss the preeminent heavyweights, you're looking at obviously the likes of Fury, the likes of Joshua, the likes of Usyk, and obviously the likes of Wilder still very much in that conversation. But just to give you a little rundown, so obviously giving you the record there, but 6'7" Wilder, 83-inch reach. And he's fighting Robert Helenius, Finnish man, 31-3 on his record. 6'6", 79-inch reach. But he's, as we're talking slightly off air, has been in with some great names. Got victories over Kawanaki recently, TKO victories, so 4th round to 6th round. He's got a victory on his record against Derek Chisora, split decision. Some people argue it's contentious, some people argue it's entirely justified. Still a legitimate victory there. And the losses that he's got on his record, I say he's got 3 losses. So Gerald Washington, that was a KO back in 2019. Lost to Dillian White and lost to Johan Duhaupas, I believe is how it's said. So tough man, and I think this is a very credible fight for Deontay Wilder to come back and test himself against. Like I said, Helenius has been stopped twice. Deontay Wilder has only in his victories managed to not stop Stiverne in the first fight. So we're looking at it going, this is a credible fight, good fight. Looking forward to having him back. Paul, I'd like to pass over to you essentially now and just ask your thoughts on this return, your thoughts on this choice of opponent for Wilder, and just some general thoughts on Wilder, where you think he can go. Please take it away, and I'll just listen because I love hearing about Deontay Wilder.
Thanks very much, mate. It was a fantastic breakdown and analysis there from you. Let's be honest, everyone's excited. Although he's lost his last 2 fights against Tyson Fury, everyone's excited when Deontay Wilder gets in the ring because there's going to be fireworks. Although he's only gone the distance once, he obviously did then knock Stiverne out when he fought him the second time. So he has stopped every man that he has beaten. He has stopped, which is just quite a feat, if I'm honest. Yeah, Helenius in his own right he's a good fighter. He's decent heavyweight, probably just ranked outside the top 10, top 15, but still a credible name. Was underdog in those 2 fights with Konaki. Konaki, there was a bit of hype about him. I think he was nearly 20-0 or so. And then he came up against Helenius, and people maybe thought the first fight he got caught cold, but he he ended up knocking him out again in the second. So yeah, I think Helenius is a credible opponent, definitely for Wilder's return. So yeah, I think it's a good fight. I'm excited for it myself. I think that Wilder, let's be honest, although Helenius is tough, he got knocked out by Washington and Daupas. So if you get knocked out by them, I think once Wilder lands, it could be good night, to be perfectly honest. I think it's just a matter of when that stoppage comes rather than if it does come. I, for one, see it being a Deontay Wilder knockout victory here, and I'm really excited to see where he goes. Potential fight next year, maybe Andy Ruiz is a final eliminator for a heavyweight title, depending on what happens with the belts, Usyk and Fury and everything else. Another fight I'd love to see him in with Joe Joyce next year. I think that would be what a fight that would be. Then obviously you've still got the Joshua fights. Again, Wilder against Usyk as well would be a sensation. A lot of people would favour Wilder in that fight simply because of the power. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to see Deontay Wilder back in the ring, to be honest. He's must-watch TV when he's in the ring.
Let me throw, I suppose, a gentle curveball your way and ask you whether, if you're Wilder, how do you think Wilder's going to approach this? Do you think it's a case of Wilder coming in, looking to make a statement and blast Helenius out? Or do you think there's something in potentially going a few rounds? Like, you've been out of the ring since 2021, or was it October, I think, of 2021. You've been out for that time. Would you, for nearly a year essentially out, would you try and get a few rounds in and then sort of stop him, or you just think he's going to come in and just try and highlight real KO him, Dominic Brazil first round, bang, good night, sort of approach? How do you think he's going to take it?
Yeah, I think this fight will be finished within the first 3 or 4 rounds. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know whether he'll come out all guns blazing in the very first round. I think he'd maybe be a wee bit more tentative in the first round. But if I was to predict a 2-round range or 1 round, I'd probably say the second or the third. If I'm totally honest, I think that as soon as that right hand gets through the guard of Helenius and lands, I don't care how good a chin you have, you're going to go down. Let's be honest. Wilder carries just freakish power in that right hand, arguably one of the biggest heavyweight punchers in history. So yeah, I think without going completely gung ho in the first round, I do think he'll get the stoppage quite early, and on paper it'll be an emphatic victory for sure. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with you, Paul. Actually, I do think a Wilder KO is incoming. I'm very excited for it, and I think it'll be somewhere within the first 4 rounds as well. So yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that card. Obviously, like, we reeled off some of the matchups on that card as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But in the second of our fights that we're previewing in this part of our preview, I'm going to pass over to you, Paul. I'm going to give a slight clue to viewers here and say that we are going down under. But Paul, let's take it from here and tell us another fight you're excited of this week and that we should be excited of as well.
Yeah, thanks, Elliott. I think again, it's probably a fight that after how the first fight went, you might not have wanted to see it because it was so conclusive in favour of one man. But now that the fight's approaching, you are kind of still getting excited about it. It's obviously the rematch between Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. For every single belt in the lightweight division. So obviously, with Kambosos, he beat Teofimo Lopez, big shock. Then straight, and you take your hat off to him. He didn't try and get any easy defensive. He's straight in with Devin Haney. And Devin Haney, similarly, he's only 23 years old, and has got the lightweight division in the palm of his hand right now. So yeah, you've got to take your hat off to him as well. I think going through the records, Haney is 28. I know with 15 stoppages, he's orthodox. As is Kambosos, he's 20-1, and half of those wins has come by knockout. They're relatively similar in height and stature. Haney's 5'8" with a 71-inch reach, and Kambosos is 5'9" with a slightly less 68-inch reach. Haney is, as I said, only 23 years old, and Kambosos is 29 years old. But yeah, as I said at the start, it wasn't a fight that I was over the moon to be hearing about again, just because of how it happened. And it's one of those things where there was a rematch clause, so you just kind of got to do it. But yeah, Kambosos obviously has that win over Lopez. Haney has the wins over Jojo Diaz, Linares, Gamboa, and the likes of it. And then, as I've mentioned, that fight against Kambosos first time around, going into the lion's den, so to speak, going down under again. So like the rematch, and yeah, Haney put on a bit of a masterclass first time around. I think it's fair to say he won at least 9, maybe even 10 of the 12 rounds, it was very one-sided. He had Kambosos hurt a few times without knocking him down. So yeah, a couple of questions for you, Elliott. I just want to get your thoughts on the fight. And if you're in Kambosos camp, what do you need to do to overturn first fight? Obviously, how do you overcome the first fight and make sure this goes and you reclaim those belts back? And secondly, the other question I want to put to you is, Haney's not known for being a huge puncher, but after how easy he made the first fight look, do you think he'll be thinking that he can stop Kambosos this time around, and could that happen?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting, because I've read a lot of and watched quite a few snippets and around the build-up of this fight, and that does seem to be one of the main points of intrigue as to whether Haney's actually go down there and do something even more conclusive than he did the first time round. In answering your question first, I suppose, about Kambosos, what can he do? To be perfectly honest, I mean, look at his record. He's got obviously that win over Lopez, marquee win there, but 10 KOs in 20 fights. I don't see him stopping Haney, and I absolutely don't see him outboxing Haney. So in a weird way, I almost feel like when you were sort of saying, is there a need for this rematch? My gut instinct would be no. But obviously, it's one of those contractual ones. I think Haney will go down there. I don't think he'll stop him necessarily unless he stops him late. I can almost see him just doing the same thing again, just outpointing him. I think what's interesting here is the discussion. I mean, regular viewers of this preview will know that in the week off we had, you and I met with some other ESBR members in London, and the conversation turned in a bar in Battersea to Devin Haney and the lightweight division in general. And I think, to be honest with you, this is one of those fights really where I'm quite keen for Haney essentially to come out looking well, and then sort of go into potentially bigger fights, obviously with other names in that division. I know you obviously were a big fan of sort of Shaka Stevenson coming up there and causing problems, but obviously Lomachenko's still kicking around. Even Ryan Garcia around there, Tank Davis, those sort of names. I'm almost keen. Nothing against Kambosos. In my head still, I almost see Kambosos as being not of that quality. So I'm almost keen for this fight to happen. Haney's come out looking well, and then we move on to essentially some massive fights that can be made in lightweight division going forward.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think thing here is, if you look at the betting odds as well, Haney's 1-10 or something now to win this fight. After it just shows you how easily he did win the first fight. I think it's a massive uphill battle for Kambosos Jr. here. Don't get me wrong, hats off to him. As soon as he beat Lopez, he's gone straight in again. But I don't see him getting near Haney again. Could he stop him? I don't know. I don't know about the stoppage. I think he'll maybe just coast and win, maybe even more convincingly on points. But yeah, I'm more excited to see the next 12 months of the lightweight division. Your Garcias, your Javonte Davises, Shakur Stevenson moving up. I'm excited just to kind of see how the whole lightweight division unfolds. So yeah, let's hope that they do all fight each other in the next 12, 18 months, 2 years. Because I, for one, I think if they all did fight each other, the lightweight division's arguably the best in the world. If you're Lomachenko's as well, I can't believe I forgot to mention Lomachenko. So yeah, all of them, I hope they just all fight each other, and I think we will see another comprehensive Haney unanimous decision victory probably here on Saturday. But yes, Elliott, I'll throw it back to you to wrap us up.
Thank you very much, Paul. No, so yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. What's interesting about this actually is that showing that this actually takes place on Sunday, which I believe might be around Sunday lunchtime in the UK. So if you if you've had an argument with your spouse, if you can't sleep, or if there's if you're looking for entertainment, essentially you can go to the card in the UK, go all the way through to the card in the US, go all the way through to the card in Australia, and you can just watch boxing essentially for around 24 hours. So it's a really good weekend for a boxing fan, to be a fight fan. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know, Paul, you're looking forward to it as well. So yeah, we'll be back next week previewing the fights that are coming up then. But for first and foremost, all to say is that, just enjoy this week, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you want any other content, we've got written previews, obviously the Wilder fight, we've got other videos, previews of the card, interviews coming up with guys that are on the cards. So yeah, just check out our channel, check out our content, and thank you very much for watching.